Right. Okay. So I am here today with Kevin Ginsburg. He is our new, tell me what you are to us.
Regional builder manager.
Okay. And you came from
I came from Guaranteed Rate Affinity.
Okay. All right. So just tell me a little bit about yourself. Just how did you get into the business?
So I got out of school and wanted to be an attorney, and I took the LSAT, and then that dream was over. And so I went quickly decided what it was that I was kind of interested in or what I wanted to do. My folks were like, you got a weekend and then you got to get an apartment and get a job. And I went out and I got a job at a really small home builder in Austin as their front desk person. And, worked with all the agents and did all our contracts and all of our finance stuff. And after a couple of years of doing that, D.R. Horton hired me as a loan officer.
Very cool.
And I didn't know that much about being an originator, obviously, at that point. But I was fortunate to fall in with a great company that had great training and great people. And it allowed me to really kind of hone in and focus on something that was a client-based type relationship. And pretty much my career has been a series of that ever since. It's been builder business, builder joint ventures, MSAs, realtor business, realtor MSAs, realtor joint ventures, for the last 25 plus years.
And you still love it. Looks like you still love it.
Passionate about it.
I love it.
My biggest passion is the builder side for sure, but love having partners to assist and customers to serve in that way.
Okay, so I'm going to go off script just a little bit. So when you say builders, is it like your big builders? Is it your small mom and pop builders? Your mid-sized builders that are wanting to be bigger builders?
Right. So the answer is yes to all of it. And so, I'm never going to turn any business away, but you have to make sure that you've got the right products to serve them. Right. And so it depends. So your larger builders oftentimes have their own mortgage companies. So a lot of times we'll go in and we'll serve as a additional set of eyes if there's a service or a product gap, something like that. Your mid-sized regionals are looking for people that can actually partner with them. And, I always look at it in terms of whether, no matter what the size of the builder is, can we help them sell one more house, right? Is there an opportunity there to do that? And so whether it's a small mom and pop that needs, construction line, whether it is a regional that needs a partnership or something that they're looking to set up to help them grow to be like a larger builder, or if it's the big builders, as long as we've got the product to serve it, I've always focused on all spaces.
Knowing that you've only been here for a few weeks, what made you look at Loan when you were with your previous organization? I'm assuming you might have been okay.
The interesting part about this is, and this industry is big, but it's not so big, right? And so a lot of the people that were at Loan Depot and the people that are at Guaranteed Rate Affinity, where I was, is a lot of the people I'd worked with in the past, whether it was on the builder side, whether it was at Countrywide, whether it was any number of other companies that people were at. There's just relationships that are there. And so I wasn't actually looking. And so some of the talent acquisition and recruiting folks at Loan Depot, and then Jim, the regional here for Texas and Oklahoma and Mississippi and Louisiana, contacted me about maybe a year ago, year and a half ago, and we just started talking. We talked a lot about builder. We talked about what was happening at Loan Depot. We talked about sort of purpose. And it just really got me thinking a lot. So as I continued to sort of evolve along those lines, and I'm, getting on in my career, I really started thinking about what I want to do the most and what I'm most passionate about. And clearly it's builder and it's growing teams and it's, being kind of exceptional in that space. And I think something that really drew me to the company, and I've had a couple of opportunities to do this in the past, is working for a company that is a founder-owner type company. You're not working for, people you don't know or people you can't see, where you don't understand what their purpose and their passion is. For me, also, I like I said, I love builder, but I also like doing government loans, and I love doing VA loans. And when you look at Loan Depot, in the top last 7 or 8 years in builder, the top 5 or 6 years in VA, it's a place where you can kind of blend your passion with that purpose.
Well, I love that. And that answered my question, why Loan Depot? All right. So what do we have here at Loan Depot? I can see that you're excited, but is there something in particular that you feel like you're getting really excited about? Where we're going?
Again, really excited. I think when you are that passionate or that determined in a particular space of your business, it's great to align with companies that do that. And it's not to say that where I was in the past or other companies don't do builder business or don't focus on it in a way that's meaningful to them. But this is like a core foundation basis of this company. That coupled with the fact that you can do government loans that don't have minimums, don't have, however you want to say it. You can basically go in and actually work with customers to get their deals done. There's a lot of crossover of that, a lot of crossover in that in the builder space. So it's just it's a place where I knew that I could take the passions that I already have with that which this company already does so well and grow it. Specifically in the builder space, very aggressive with the partnerships, whether those are MSAs, joint ventures, forward commitments, the types of thing that when you're working with a builder, whether it's, to your question earlier, whether it's a smaller builder or a larger builder, that we have the tools to be able to, again, help them sell one more house.
So someone that's worked for loanDepot for almost 3 years now, what is it that you see that maybe somebody that I've been in the trenches for a little bit that I don't really appreciate? So kind of like saying, oh, your wife is great. And the husband not realizing like how great his wife is because he forgot about it.
I think it goes back to purpose. I mean, I think sometimes when you're at a company, you can take for granted certain things, right? And so I always looked at, when I started in the business, I was like, what am I going to focus on? What am I going to be great at? And then what products and people are going to help me enable that? So maybe if you've been at the company for a while and you're thinking, I want to go out and I want to grow with builders. I want to go out. I want to grow with realtors. I want to go out. I want to specialize in this product. But we start our Mondays getting inundated with so many things that you don't ever actually get to that. I think where the opportunity exists here is to take the tools, take the products, and then take the people, the passionate, and go out and call on 5 new builders, call on 5 new realtors, go out and sit down and tell them this is what we can do to help improve your business. And a lot of time it's just doing that together. I think sometimes we forget to ask, we ask for help early in the business to learn what it is we're doing. We forget to ask for help later in the business when we already know what we're doing, but we could use some help getting there. I think we've got an awesome opportunity for that here.
If you could tell your younger self getting into this business, what message would you give?
Wow, that's a great question. I would tell myself to be more patient. I wanted a lot fast when I started in the business, and I had early success as an originator. And then I just continued to sort of parlay that success into different types of roles, management roles, things of that nature. But I kind of wish I'd been a little bit more patient on the origination side for a longer period of time individually. And it sort of dovetails into is sort of the second part of where that question might go is I would also tell myself, no matter what role that I was in, don't ever give up my production. And this one's really, really interesting. So I've had a time where I've managed and not produced, and I've had times where I've managed and produced. I have always been better when I have managed and produced. And the third extension of that is when you're doing that, make sure that you hold on to as many relationships as you can. Because even though people like you and they're going to be loyal to you, if you're having them work with other members of your team and you're not following up or inspecting that, things can happen in a certain way that maybe you wish, man, I wish I'd just been a little bit closer to that and just a little bit more like dialed in on every single part of that. So I think I would tell myself to be patient. I would tell myself to always have any facet of the work that I did be kind of more directly engaged with the client in production.
Okay. And then maybe adding on to that, but what would you change or warn yourself on? And what would you also focus on? So I feel like production was part of that.
Production is definitely part of that answer. I would warn myself not to chase shiny objects because I have
That's me.
I have like a big problem in that. And it's almost like it's like an ADD of the mortgage industry or something where I'm doing well. I know I'm doing well. The company is great. Even though I've worked for multiple companies, I've always valued the people that I've worked with and what I've learned from those people. But sometimes the shiny object can throw me off. And then I do something or I don't do something, and it takes me down a different path that I wish I had just stayed a bit more focused on. And that's kind of for everybody. We all do that, and we're all looking at the what's next or how do I find that next part of my passion. I think I'll just slow down, just be a little bit more patient on that.
Last question.
Sure.
With AI disrupting our industry, you've obviously seen different disruptions within the industry. What are your thoughts on what's coming and what excites you about what's coming?
So it's an awesome question. So I think the AI point is an interesting one in the sense that when I think of disruption in our industry, I think of the financial crisis. I think of when we had to redo our 1003, when we had to redo all of our docs. I think about compensation reform for loan officers, and then technology things along the way, when there was a time where everybody said we will be doing everything on the internet and it's going to get rid of loan officers. I think of those things as disruption. I think about what's happening with AI as more like a revolution, like an industrial revolution almost. The difference being is when our country went through that was decades of change, right? It happened slowly. It happened over time. AI is happening now, and it's happening fast. And what's happening within it is it can be a little bit scary, but can also be great. The difference is because it's happening so fast, people are scared. And what I would say is AI isn't going to take your job, but the people who utilize AI and the tools and the speed and the efficiency and the knowledge and the lack of redundancy in some areas, they're going to take your job, right? Like, just like in the Industrial Revolution, when the kind of jobs change, the kinds of jobs are going to change for us too. But I think the benefit that we're going to have from that, from an AI perspective, in terms of making us more efficient, in terms of making the business more scalable, in terms of being able to have real-time answers like right when you need them and they're correct, all of that I think is going to be a really good thing for us. So I think you can't be the person that says, that's not AI stuff isn't for me. That would be like saying the iPhone isn't for me. At the end of the day, this is happening. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that we integrate it well in our business. We have team members that also understand that space. And I think within the mortgage industry, that's a great thing. Average loan officers like 54, 55 years old. We need to be bringing in the 20, the 25-year-olds, the people that may not necessarily want to do mortgage, but they can make mortgage great. They can make it exceptional. We always think about how do we reinvent this part of our industry? We need to bring in younger people that do this because they're going to be kind of the next wave of this industry. So I find AI is super exciting. And I think what loanDepot is doing is sort of the iterations with Mello and bringing back some of the best tech people that built this platform and who have been building AI elsewhere to do that here. It's happening. So, I mean, you kind of the embracing it, I think, is super important. And I think if people think about it less as something that they have to learn and something that they get to learn, I think it's really going to change our business.
I'm going to ask you a few more questions about if anyone is on the fence and they're talking to other companies, and hopefully we are on that short list of places to go to, can you say why you chose here versus maybe one or two other places that were probably intriguing you? Because I look at it like when you start talking to other companies, you kind of have a foot out the door already, and you're looking not necessarily at the shiny toy, but at something like a new opportunity and a new place to grow, a new place to be challenged. Because I think for those that are already high producing loan officers already, it's not necessarily you're moving for money. You're moving because it's like a new challenge or it's a new opportunity.
Right. I think that's a great question. And I think the way that I would look at that is first off, if you're already open to talking to one company, you should be open to talking to multiple companies. And I think a lot of times when I talk to folks, they're like, well, I'm already talking to insert mortgage company name here, right? And I'm like, great. Or they'll say something like, I'm happy. Great. I was happy when I was talked to as well. We want to be talking to happy people. So I'd say first to people, give yourself the opportunity to talk to multiple companies so that you can ask questions of them and really determine what is a differentiator here. The next thing I would say is once you've determined that we are one of those companies you should talk to, it comes down to what is this team or what are these people going to do to help me grow my business? Not just what can you pay me? Not just, where are your rates? And all these are the right questions, right? But it's like if I'm at 10 million today and I want to get to 20, specifically, what are you going to do? Specifically, we can help you grow your business with builders. We can help you grow your business with realtors. We can help you get your database and your past clients acting more effectively and efficiently with things that we're doing behind the scenes that you're not, so you can go out and do things that really make money. And I think you also have to look at sort of the technology stack and the future of what that company's at. If everybody's on the same LOS, and that is a lot of this industry, and it's not innovating, is that lack of innovation going to hold you back in this new realm of technology that we're going into? Really ask those questions. And then ask the people there, what has made them succeed in that environment? Talk to people there. Talk to people that are not the ones even necessarily that are talking to you or that are recruiting you. Talk to somebody that's been at the company for a while. Why has the company been good for them? What are the good things? What are the bad things? How did it help them grow their business? Really interview the company instead of just showing up and having that conversation and think, well, I guess I'll just, kind of take in what they tell me and then see where I can get the biggest check, right? I mean, that's all part of a negotiation, but it's really about, can they help you grow your business? Can they help you scale your business? Can they do it with the right technology stack? And do you have people that have been there for a period of time that don't have a vested interest necessarily in you coming on board that'll just give it to you straight?
Because it's one thing, it's kind of like your parents, right? It's one thing if mom and dad says that, but then if you have a complete stranger saying all of that, people are more apt to listen to you.
100%. I'll tell you, before I came here, that is exactly what I did. And I took time, and it was a patience game, but I was talking to different people that worked here. I had talked to people that had worked here before that may be coming back, right? And it's like, it just gives you such a great gives such a great span out there that, that you're sort of looking to have, as opposed to just having sort of an isolated one or two conversations and just going through what I call the car wash, when they just, companies just bounce you from one person to the next. Yeah. And they're just all kind of like throwing up information on you, as opposed to dig deep. And in this, yes, you're being interviewed, but you're interviewing too.
Right. I call it like being on The Bachelor, and it's like, who am I going to get my
That's exactly right.